Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, and I want to wish everyone a good morning. It is episode 46. Thank y'all for tuning in. The title for this one is An Invasion of Texas. So y'all probably figure out what it is about then if you're from just the title. Please don't forget to, if you're watching this, to subscribe to the podcast at the JP8 Report. My primary is Rumble. It'll always be Rumble, and then I got YouTube and Podbean, and with Podbean, there's a whole affiliate of podcasts that it distributes to. But Rumble is my primary, so please subscribe to it and hit the little boxing gloves on the Rumble, or hit the like button on YouTube. Okay, and I also discovered recently, if you're on Podbean, you can actually leave comments. So let's do this and help me out and share the podcast out to people. Thank y'all for viewing episode 46. It becomes a recurring process here with me with my plan out a podcast and see stuff going on, and I got to scrub out the podcast and write a new script or outline. I don't like going by scripts. As y'all probably notice, sometimes I go, and I'm sorry, but that happens. I've done that most of my life and stuff. I like to speak off the cuff and try to figure out what's going on. Before we get started, and I wrote this script up last night before I went to bed, and get up this morning, I'm watching the news. New numbers that just got published from the RGV was 210,000 illegal aliens were apprehended in the month of July, and in June it was 188,000. So whatever the Biden administration is doing, they're failing. They're failing miserably. And one of the reports that I was watching this morning, they were interviewing illegal aliens that were apprehended. It's 210,000 people that were apprehended. How many people actually got away and escaped into the interior of Texas, and which is a threat to all Texans and U.S. citizens, because we have no idea who they are or where they come from. But they were, you hear the non-VP, I don't care what you call her these days. I don't know what she does. But they were interviewing some of the migrants that were trying to escape into the United States, and said, "What is your reason for coming?" And it wasn't to seek asylum from oppressive governments. It was the lifting of the stay in Mexico policy. Okay, they come here for economic hardship, not political hardship. And then the primary reason was they don't have to stay in Mexico while they're waiting a hearing. We give them a free bus ticket and we send them to other parts of the United States, Mexico, Texas, and all across the United States. How do we keep accountability of anyone that comes here illegally that gets away with doing something like that? There's no accountability, no command, no control of what's going on. You don't let an escaped felon that's inmate wander around the streets. Well, some places they do, and we see the ramifications of it. President Trump, before he left office, they figured out a way to cure this problem at the border, and building the border wall and having to remain in Mexico policy. It was working. It was working very well. And then when Biden became president in January, he just destroyed most of it. The only thing he left in place is Title 42. And yesterday they quietly extended Title 42, and that's to send people directly, unless they're here for amnesty, not amnesty. I can't think of the word right now, but it's when you come here for when you're being threatened by political divisions back home. You'll be allowed to stay, or if you have a minor in your custody, you're allowed to stay too. Other than that, you're sent back to Mexico. We're closing in on 2 million captured illegal aliens since inauguration. Unbelievable, those numbers. Unbelievable. So if 2 million people pretty much have been apprehended, how many people are actually in the interior? You still can't fly here from Europe. You still can't come over here from Canada. And you can't legally come here from Mexico. But you can wade across or swim across the Rio Grande and give someone $16,000, $17,000, $20,000 to get you across the Rio Grande, and you can come to the United States uninhibited. It's stupid. Are they infected with the virus? Have they been tested for the virus? What happens what happens if they come up positive? What do they do with them then? They're in the same report I was listening to this morning. They were talking about this one Catholic group on the RGV in La Jolla was quietly putting immigrants in illegal immigrants into hotels around the city, and when they were and it was suspected that they were infected, that they were asked about that, and the lady that was being interviewed said she was advised not to answer that question. Why not? Our state, our citizens, our people, and you want to put them at risk. Governor Abbott's worked so hard to get those numbers down for COVID, and we were really, really down on our numbers. And all of a sudden, the Delta variant comes through, and we're like, how's it getting through? Well, you get people that escape across the U.S. border, and I bet a good bit of that, if you can't fly to Europe, if you can't fly to Canada, all this stuff that's going on, but how's it getting here? Well, maybe it's coming across the U.S. border. Okay. The U.S.-Mexico border in the Brownsville area. Maybe. Not sure. It needs to be clarified. I would like to get some answers on that. Czar Harris, she's supposed to be in charge of everything's going on the border region. She's tried to surrender some of those duties, but she has not been replaced as the government czar. Can't believe we even use that language. We're not Russian, but she's in charge of that, and she needs to show ownership of it. Maybe she's a sacrificial lamb. Maybe the Biden administration just wants to let a free flow of people into the United States, so that, and under their right conditions, that they might just go ahead and get the people they need and make them citizens and give them some amnesty, and so they can vote for people and stuff. The problem is, what's that doing about security in Texas? Our crime rates are going up. The COVID rates are going up. What are we doing about wages? Now, if we get 2 or 3 million more people into the United States, and we let them legally work in the United States, and are unskilled people that work in these minimum wage jobs, because they can't hire, we're going to work in the Sears Tower or American Airlines Tower or all Reliance Stadium or wherever in Texas and elsewhere in the United States, and you have these, you have the capability of being able to do work at a less value. And then you have all these high school students, you have these people that are looking for a part-time job, and where they can just earn a little bit of extra money to help pay for some extra bills. They might need some to pay medical bills or just saving for a vacation. And you go out and try to get a job, and they say, "Oh yeah, oh, vacancies filled," or "Oh yeah, we'll hire you for, we'll pay you $8 an hour." Well, wait a minute. I'm going to be doing this much for $8 an hour. Well, yeah. Joe Schmo, that's from Mexico, he's here working, and we pay him $7.25 an hour, and he can do the work of 3 people. And but you go find a job somewhere else if you don't like working for $8 an hour. They're depressing the wages of people in the United States. They're trying to make an adequate living, and with all the inflation that's going on out here, people need to make more money to be able to actually pay their bills. And when you're working 35 an hour, $30 to $35, 30 to 35 hours a week, and you're getting paid, well, let's say $15 an hour, and you're like, oh wow, that is a lot of money. But the cost of living just went up, and it's harder to live, and people need to make more money to pay bills that keep getting more and more expensive. Folks, we can do better than this. There's no reason why Americans should be subjected to that type of economic hardship. We have the capability and the means in our country to be able to employ people and pay them adequately. It's harder on the smaller business than it is on the bigger corporations, because we actually have to, like I did payroll this morning before I did podcasts. I have to do that every week. But you got to make sure there's money in the bank before you can actually do that. But when you willfully let millions of people come across the border and then legally allow them to work, it's going to depress the wages for the rest of the hardworking Americans in our country to be able to get anything done and be able to provide for their families. Okay. So 210,000 people. That's a lot of people. So they come over and get arrested, and not all of them are sent back to Mexico, as we were talking about earlier. If they have kids with them, they're given a court date, or if they got, they come over to the, I still can't think of the word, it starts with an A, man. It's not amnesty, but I'll think about it. It'll probably hit me at the very, very end. But they test them for COVID, and before the results even come back, they put them on a bus. They give them a bus ticket, and they send them to anywhere in the United States where they want to go. Your tax dollars sending illegal aliens anywhere they want to go into the United States. Sometimes not even with the court date of when to return, or if they even return for a court hearing on their immigration status. Your tax dollars, taxpayer funded, not government funded. Oh yeah, I got a government funded bus ticket. No, you have a taxpayer funded bus ticket. We, the taxpayers of this country, bought that ticket. We should know where they're going. We should know if they're healthy. Governor Abbott, he just got sued by the U.S. government, but he did right. He cut that executive order stating that if Texans, law enforcement Texans, suspect that a vehicle is transporting illegal aliens, and illegal aliens, some of them are inside that transportation device, are not healthy, they're sick, we can turn that bus, car, train, plane, automobile, turn it around and send it back to where it came from. The government will lose that court case. Believe me, they will lose that. You can read it in the Constitution. I got it. That's going to be coming up at the very end of this podcast. Ken Paxton, he will win that court case for Governor Abbott. When they come across the border, they get free access in Texas, but Canadians, Europeans can't come. I'm in the construction business. Even my, you look around, who does most of the tiling and the framing. People, we got Americans these days don't like to work out in the sun. How many, if you just look around, just go up to, they're building plenty of houses in this state. And they go up there and you look around and say, hey, who's building these houses? Do you see a lot of white and black people out there? You see a lot of Hispanics. And don't want to stereotype, but how many of those people there are legally in the United States? Are they being paid under the table? Me, myself, I use only employees. I'm a legitimate business owner. I don't pay people under the table. I cut them a direct deposit to pay them. Some companies don't. They just pay cash at the end of the day, like a day laborer. How many of those people are actually legally able to be here in the United States? If they wasn't here, and Americans had to work those jobs, they could get paid higher money. But someone come over and said, "Hey, I'll work for $5 an hour, just pay me cash." Man, that framing company is going to be making extra money. I remember when I was a kid in school, I grew up in Fort Worth, and you would see INS back then. They were INS raids through Fort Worth, and they were capturing hundreds of people working illegally in regular factories and stuff. And we'd be wondering, that's when Fort Worth was a Democrat-led city, and you'd be wondering, like, man, how are they getting away with it? It's because we let them get away with it. Okay. Governor Abbott, he keeps writing his executive orders. He needs to keep doing that. I know he's in a very heated political primary right now. Such is life. He needs to do what he's supposed to do as governor, or he'll be replaced. And I like me, myself right now, I tell you, I like 2 of the 3 people running for governor. One is a joke, but the other 2, they're legitimate contenders. And if Governor Abbott wants to keep his job, he'll stand up and show his true colors as governor and keep doing his job like he's supposed to be doing. He just keep with with doing what he's supposed to do. But we have to eliminate the capacity of the cartels that continue to rape and pillage our border areas, keep them from sending drugs across and illegal immigrants across. We got to be able to interdict these people. One really bad thing that's going on right now is the young women coming across the border from these cartels. It's human trafficking, or you can call sex trafficking. We'll call a spade a spade. And anytime a young man or a young woman partakes in prostitution anyway, you're contributing to the human trafficking across the border. Okay? And you'll go to jail for it. But why would you even want to take that chance? Because if you don't partake in it, the cartels don't have the capability of making money. Because $16,000 send someone across the Rio Grande, but they can make a whole lot of extra money by pushing someone out on the streets. But if you don't engage them, you that money making scheme will just evaporate. But it's got to be a collective team effort. But we got to put these cartels out of business. Do not negotiate with them. Do not give them that aspect of success. When the Biden administration allows people uninhibited to come across the U.S. border and just turn themselves in, and then 50, 60 miles up the road, the border is unattended because those DPS agents and those rangers and the ICE and everybody else is further on down helping out these illegal aliens. And so this is the time that the cartels can push their drugs and their illegal prostitution rings across the Rio Grande and distribute them throughout Texas and the United States. Why would we do something like that? It does not make sense. And then if you really want to get down deep into it, if you go into the Constitution is Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15, which is to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrection, and repel invasions. Okay, someone coming across our border uninvited is an invasion. Okay, you got mass people coming across. You have cartels that freely navigate our borders armed. Okay, that should never happen in our country. Okay, next one is Article 4. Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. Okay, and application of the legislature or the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Same thing, just in a different part of the Constitution. Their job is to protect us from invasion. Okay. When you get unfettered access to the government, to the border region, and you got the cartels operating, it presents a clear and present danger to the United States. Who are they bringing across that border? Who are they bringing across the border? Is it just young families looking to make a living? Is it political people trying to escape violence from their homeland? Are they terrorists? Are they criminals? Are they cartels? Are they drug runners? Are they being sex trafficking? We have to end that because it just presents a greater problem in the United States as it is. Okay, and then the one other one I want to talk to you about is Amendment number 10 in the Constitution. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to other states, or reserved to the states respectively or to the people. You tell me where in the Constitution does it say anything about immigration, that where the states can't provide adequate protection along its borders to protect it when the government won't. It's not in there. Okay, that means the state should be able to provide its own security. Okay, not in a discriminatory manner, but in a law enforcement manner. If you're not legally allowed to be in the United States, it's the responsibility of our governor and our sheriffs and our police chiefs to guarantee that Texans are safe to live in their communities, to go about and do their daily things without the threat of someone robbing them or assaulting them or killing them, or our kids or our relatives. So Governor Abbott's doing the right thing. Our county sheriffs are doing the right thing. Well, most of them. And then most of our police chiefs are doing the right thing. We need to support them, but in no instance should they ever be allowed unimpeded access into our interior at that. Okay. With that, just do some research on your own and be supportive of what's going on. Hold the administration accountable for their actions. Okay. There's a lot going on, but 210,000, 188,000. Just at those 2 months, that's 400,000 people that were apprehended on the U.S. border. 400,000. That's almost the size of Fort Worth in 2 months. And we should never allow that. Okay, this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. You can always catch me on Parler or on Facebook, or you can email me at jp8report@gmail.com. And I'll catch you on the flip side. This is James Pierce. I'm out.